Hello, good morning. I wanted to come make this video now that it's almost the end of 2016 to take a look back at the goals I made last December for this year, see how I did, kind of analyze the year, and then look forward into 2017. How can we do better, and what are my hopeful plans? And here with Selena. So in 2016, my initial plans, I knew that I was planning to go to Greece, so I studied a little bit of Greek. Uh, with the Greek, I decided not to continue to maintain the language. I already had too many other plans. Busy with residency. I'm a medical resident here in the United States. That takes up a lot of time. And with the other languages I'm studying, with my other projects, reading, I don't have time for everything. So I unfortunately had to let that one go. I also wanted to do some reading in French and watch some French movies and improve my French a bit. Since we made a stop, my wife and I stopped for a few days in Paris on the way home from Greece. And that was a whole lot of fun. I read Germinal by Émile Zola, and I also read Autour du monde en 80 jours, or Around the World in 80 Days by Jules Verne. And so that was I enjoyed refreshing my French, getting back into French culture, and I just love Paris as a city. It's beautiful, so spending time there was wonderful. And as far as the languages that I'm studying, at the beginning of last year, I saw that during residency, I'm too busy to, I wrote it right out, I'm too busy to study both Chinese and Japanese. And I made the decision to sacrifice Japanese in order to better Mandarin Chinese. I saw that as being the more useful of the two languages. I'm interested in both and interested in East Asia in general, but I decided I wanted to focus on Mandarin. And then, so I wanted to study 10 hours a month. In October, my wife says, we have a vacation coming up in April, and she says, I want to go visit Japan. It will be when the cherry blossom trees are in full blossom, and it sounds like a wonderful trip. And so I jump on that enthusiasm right away and just start right back up with Japanese, and even put Chinese now on a bit of hold. So my goal before was 120 hours. I will not make that. I'll probably end up with about 60 hours of Chinese. But as far as the Japanese goes, I'll be a little over 40 hours now that I've been really focusing more on Japanese these last few months. So total between the two languages, I'm at least over 100 hours. With these two languages going forward, now that I'm back and diving into Japanese, I really love it. I'm having a lot of fun learning Japanese, but I want to learn, and I want to be someday fluent in both languages. Now, they are two difficult languages to learn. So my goals for next year in these East Asian languages are not to become fluent. They're not even to become that close to fluent. It's just to be better. So my plan with these languages is, again, study between 100 to over 120 hours. I'll say 10 hours a month, over 120 hours in the two languages combined. And ideally, I'll just move a little bit closer and just continue getting better, reading, understanding, improving my vocabulary. And someday, maybe a couple years down the road, continuing to do this, I will go spend 2 weeks at maybe a language school where I'll be able to be surrounded by the language and start at an intermediate level for the 2 weeks straight, be kind of immersed in the language to really make a jump from just kind of an intermediate level to a basic fluency. I'd like to do that in both China and Japan someday in the future. As far as my other languages, I kind of group them into language families. So for Slavic, I'm only learning Russian right now. I love learning Russian this year. I spent lots of time in watching Russian movies. I read an anthology by Chekhov and really enjoyed reading that. I'd like to start reading some of Dostoevsky. My reading level is getting better. So I plan on trying to read Idiot by Dostoevsky this year. And I also, my next main goal in Russian is to start speaking it with a tutor. I want to actually pay a tutor and give italki a try, see how I like it, because I've never done this before, and I feel like that's the main part of Russian that I need more practice, is actually speaking the language. So I need to get a tutor and actually start speaking only in Russian. At least occasionally. So I'm going to look into that going into next year. That's my goals with Russian. For the Romance languages, I'll put French on hold. I'm very happy with what I've done with French this year. Portuguese, I'll still keep doing the same, just occasional watching YouTube videos and music. That's about it. And Spanish, I'm almost immersed in Spanish here in Texas, so I'm not going to actively study it. But my Italian, I feel like, is starting to slip, and I want to make it a goal to read at least one, but I'd like to read 2 books in Italian this year and watch, I don't know, like 10, at least 10 movies. This isn't going to be a massive Italian study, all inclusive, but just to brushing up, and that will be kind of out of all the Romance languages, that'll be the one that I want to focus most on in 2017, so that I don't continue to backslide in Italian. I want to kick it up a notch and improve my Italian a bit. And as far as German goes, I already have a lot of goals with with all the other languages, continuing Russian, working on my Italian, trying to learn Japanese and Chinese. I just don't have time to work on German, so I plan maybe 2018 focus more on German, depending on how things go. Now, all of that being said, my plans always get interrupted by something. There's always something new bound to come up in 2017. Maybe I'll have a new friend from a different country or a new opportunity to go somewhere. Who knows where the year will take me. But looking forward, tentatively, those are my plans. And again, I'd like to read 10 books, novels, just for fun. If I have time, I'd love to make it. This year I read 7, so didn't make it, but we'll see how I do next year. All right, leave comments below, and I look forward to hearing from you.